Good morning, welcome in everybody. It is another episode of NBA and NHL and maybe PGA DFS Army.com sponsored DFS Diary. I'm your buddy Choppadong. We're going to dive in today, put together a couple of player pools, hopefully a DraftKings NBA player pool. And we're going to talk a little bit about where I'm going to go, what I'm going to show you. I did a little experiment about a month ago, kind of messing around with showing you NHL stacking versus cash games. It only took about 2 weeks or 3 weeks to prove that stacking in NHL is going to lead to more 180 and 200 scores than cash non-stacking type stuff. But the non-stacking stuff is generally going to run in a little bit tighter channel from about, 110 to about 140. On some good nights, yes, the non-stack stuff can go off. But generally speaking, you need to correlate in hockey to hit those higher scores to win the tournaments and things. And the non-stacking stuff does tend to work a little bit better in cash games. Although, score 180 something points in hockey, if you can do that with stacking, if you can do that really, really well and really frequently, you don't need to worry about non-stacking in cash because you can just crush cash games with 180 scores as well. So really that gets to the more philosophical blurred lines between cash and GPP. And I'm telling you, these days the game has evolved. We've gone away from the antiquated have to play ultra, ultra, ultra safe in cash. Can't make any mistakes. No, because everybody else has the same knowledge you have. Everybody else is playing the same players you have. The chalk is easy to identify. Everybody knows where it is, knows how to find it, knows how to use it. And then you're all sitting in there just scoring the same amount of points. You've got no edge anymore. And when you've ruined your edge, you can fall just underneath that bell curve just as easily as you can get just barely over it. So you need to take a little bit more risk, a little bit more upside to get over that bell curve even in cash. Yes, your volatility is going to go up, but as your scores go up and down and hit higher numbers in cash games, you also need to infuse other portions of your game, like triple ups and quintuple ups and league play and GPPs to a certain degree. All of that stuff needs to come in there too, which is what goes back to our ladder strategy and why we always have some upside in our contests. However, what we've also compared to is head-to-head competitions and the fact that if you take on 100 head-to-head competitions and you sweep all of them, you have just built a top 1% lineup across the industry that is absolutely winning 25x in, league play like 100-man leagues, 8 to 10x in tournament play with upside to more. Yet, if you just left it in your head-to-heads, you didn't even double your money. You only got back, 90% of your buy-in as profit. You put in $100, you got back 90, so you won $190 or whatever. Big whoop. You didn't even double your money. Yes, I understand that it's a safer way to play. That at least I got back $30. Well, good for you. Guess what? I would rather take shots at triple and quintuple my money every single night because now I only need to win every 3 nights or every 5 nights to do the same damn thing. And I'm taking shots at upside to win even more. How could we blend those two worlds together? That's the real question. What if I had a way that gave you upside to all of the massive ROI winning stuff, but yet was safe enough that you're still usually going to get some money back? For those of you that I want to put in $100 and know I'm at least getting 25 back. What if I told you you could put in 100 lineups and at least cash with 10 to 20 of them and possibly get back 20 to 25% of your buy-in? Put in that $100 and get $20 back on a bad night. But it has an option to take that $100 and turn it into 1,000. Wouldn't that be blending both worlds together? Wouldn't that be kind of like the best of both worlds? Welcome to the world of mass multi-entry. That's what these contests have done. This is where my thought process is evolving. I've seen a few things. I've been a little scared to try it because I'm the ladder guy, the cash guy, whatever. But as time changes, it's like eventually the frog in the boiling pot of water got to jump out of the pot. You got to find a little bit better way. You got to find a different way to teach people to grow and to encourage people that they need the coaching that we provide in the DFS Army. So I have to constantly be growing and evolving my own game. So what I'm going to do over the next couple of weeks is show you that MME, whether it be, I don't care what sport, MME is actually safer than you think. You're not going to put in $30 and lose it all. Hell, you're not even going to put in $5 and lose it all. Most nights you'll get a little bit back. I think I cashed in a bad night 3 out of 36 lineups, put in like $9 and got back $1.50. And while that's a little bit devastating, it's like head-to-head. It's like a bad head-to-head night. It's like, well, at least I got back something. However, I had upside to win, 100, 200 bucks, something like that. And when it comes right down to it, I've already won a NASCAR GPP this year. I got no idea about NASCAR, but I MME'd it, had the nuts for the contest I was in, and returned like 1,000% ROI. That's awesome, right? And I've had a couple of close calls in 7, 8, 900 person events where I've placed top 5 a few times with my NHL lineups. Haven't hit one of those yet, but I still put in say $10 and get back 35. That ain't so bad. There's a million ways to skin a cat, and this is just another way. So let's kind of dive in. We'll take that approach going forward. I'll show you a little bit of results and stuff like that some other time. But let's kind of go through and at least show you what I'm talking about when it comes to where we're going to go. Because I don't know. Maybe we'll do golf. We've got a preview article out at dfsarmy.com. Maybe we'll do basketball. We've got a preview article at dfsarmy.com. Maybe we'll do hockey. We've got that, and then after I do this video, I'm going to dive in and I'm going to write my own preview article that's going to use this graphic. So we'll come back to that in a minute, but what we're going to do first is we're going to dive in and build a DraftKings player pool. For those of you that stuck around this 6 minutes, obviously head down and click the link in the bottom of the comments, click the like, subscribe, ring the notification bell, get access to everything that I'm doing. I'm not doing these daily anymore, but I'm going to try and keep doing them a couple of times a week. When I have to write when it comes to MLB and NHL and things like that, then that's just going to be what takes up the majority of my time. That's where I'm going to be. I'm still going to try and do these videos because I love doing them, and I love the responses and the comments you guys give me to encourage me to keep doing more. So please, I love it. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much. Let's dive in and sort by the and one player pool. Since we're doing DraftKings, only 6 games tonight. Since we're doing DraftKings, we're going to turn on all of the point guard people, right? Haven't done this for a little while. We've done Fanduel a couple of times. But let's turn on all the point guard people. And let's do what we've always done. Look for the matchups, and then look for the value, and then look for who's hot and not. Matchups go all the way down to about here to Lillard. So Harden, Westbrook, Irving, Schroeder, Rose, Lowry, Simmons, Curry. I'm just reading these names off. Collison, Paul, Levine, Conley, Lillard, whatever, down to about a 10 in the matchup rating. So if I come over here and I'm looking for who, so Lillard, supposed to bring good value. Curry, supposed to bring, is that Curry? No, Collison, supposed to bring good value. Schroeder, supposed to bring good value. The 5.6 is a little borderline in Ben Simmons. And then some of your pure value guys that almost made the list are your kind of like little one-star dudes. Avery Bradley, Teague, McCollum. In play tonight, right? But these are your 2-star guys. Here, 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 and here. So let's scroll over a little bit and keep in mind that we go all the way down to about a McCollum and look for who's hot. But we need to see the value here and look for who's hot. Harden's hot right now, but he's not scheduled to bring a ton of value. We know he can go off on any given night, though. Probably more of a GPP type of play. Schroeder, running hot, bringing value, high on the and one list. Core play tonight, probably. When it all shakes out. Here's another hot one, bringing decent value in Ben Simmons. Borderline core play tonight. The only reason I'm not saying he's a core play tonight is because I want to see his value number be a little bit higher. But he technically hits the value. He technically hits the and one. He technically hits the hot player list, so use him. Take shares. Down here, Avery Bradley, bringing value. He's questionable, but he's running hot. Lillard's not running hot, but Lillard gets so many minutes, his floor is very, very stable. Down here, a couple of core plays. Nope, not bringing value. So these guys are bringing value, but they're not hot. So see how it jumbles up a little bit? Why not stack the deck? Why not take somebody that hits all of the categories for you, write them down on, and I'm not even saying run them in all of your lineups. What I'm saying is put them on your short list. Dig into those guys and see if these numbers, these indicators make sense. Is somebody else off this list going to go off tonight? Of course. Happens every night. But most of the time, the guys on this list have the deck stacked in their favor, and they're going to be very solid plays. Let's go back and do the same for shooting guard so that we can keep the train moving. Sorted by and one again. You'll see a lot of repeats. That's why we go down deeper into the player list on DraftKings. In Windows sucks. This is just, I hate it how this guy is still even in the list. Harden, Schroeder, Rose, Wiggins, Curry, Matthews, Bogdanovich, Levine, Thompson, Big Clay, Eric Gordon, Butler, Redick. And then if these guys are on the value list, like down here in a McCollum again, I might go down to a McCollum again. So I'm looking McCollum, Redick, Klay Thompson, if he's not questionable at the end of the day. Wes Matthews is always a decent value play. He goes through his up and down spells, which is why we want to watch minutes and we want to watch hot or not. Is that Derrick Rose? No, that's Schroeder again. So if I scroll over here, and the one I'm watching is Wes Matthews, currently running hot, probably okay to play, to take a chance on him. I can scroll over even further and look for Wes Matthews' consistency. 55% of the time he hits 5x, 26% of the time he hits 6x. Is tonight one of the 26%? I don't know. Might be. But these are the guys that I'd be watching for. The guys that are bringing value and run a little bit hot. Is that also Bogdanovich? 5.6x projected value, 5.21 points above his average, 3 games over 10 games. All right. I'd definitely be looking into him too. Down here at 12, is that Avery Bradley? Yeah. Running a little bit hot, supposed to bring some, so good play. So you're going to eventually have to pick and choose a little bit. Maybe you take some of your cheaper plays out of this list. But it's not rocket science. I try to make these things very, very simple for you guys. I have a very minimalist mindset when it comes to the way I play DFS. I stack the numbers in my favor. I look for ways to cut the fluff, and I focus on the shit that's supposed to do well. That's all I care about. That's it. And yeah, everybody else can tell me that this guy, ties his shoe on Tuesday with his right hand over his left hand when the bunny goes around the tree and through the hole. I don't give a crap. I'm not looking that deep. I don't need to look that deep to compete with you. I think people overthink this shit. I think they've got fancy play syndrome, and then they wonder why they're redepositing all the time. Just focus on what works. Focus on what is supposed to happen more times than not, and play it out over the long run. Play within your bankroll. Play it out over the long run. Kawhi Leonard, Aaron Gordon, Wiggins, Ben Simmons, small forward eligible, Durant, Wes Matthews again, Bogdanovich again, Thad Young, Eric Gordon, Butler, Redick again. And then a couple of these borderline guys down here. Nobody's really triggering the value stuff, but, down below that's not already on the and one list. Except for, Redick is already on the list. Matthews already on the list. Maybe a Kawhi Leonard. Now you're down into the Wiggins and Simmons stuff again. Down here with Bogdanovich and Thad Young again. So these are the guys I'd be focused on. They're your 2-star athletes. They're your 2 category studs. I wouldn't exactly call them studs necessarily, but they're your 2 category plays tonight. Aaron Gordon running a little bit hot too. Ben Simmons running a little bit hot, as we already saw. Bogdanovich running a little bit hot. And Tobias Harris, which is intriguing because he's got no value on the night if projections are right. So I would consider this a very, very risky GPP type of play because he can still go off. I mean, he's running hot. Can still go off. It just doesn't look like the matchup's conducive for that tonight. But these are the names I'd be writing down. And it's just very simply a way to cut down to 20, 25 players. The best of the best. Kawhi, Gordon, Durant, Horford, Young, Siakam, Saric, Harris, Grant, Morris, Markkanen. Look at how quickly I fell out of the top, the and one ratings of 10 or above. This is a shallow position tonight. Going to need to be focused. Probably makes Kawhi Leonard, if he's not questionable, probably makes Kawhi Leonard a pretty important play. Might end up taking an Al Horford and throwing him into the power forward spot tonight instead of the center spot. Because power forward looks really, really tough. Maybe use a Saric here in power forward spot. I'm not saying that the 10 is a hard number. It's just one that I start watching where I say above a 10 is a good matchup. Below 10 is starting to get iffy. Down here into the 3s and 4s, don't like those guys. There's something up with their matchup that isn't appealing. Scroll over a little bit here. We want to stay above like the Sarics if we can. There's Harris again, just below Saric. Nothing. Aaron Gordon's a little bit hot. Aaron Gordon, mediocre value at best. So there really is not a lot to pick from here. Even Al Horford is not running hot right now. This one is going to be what your tournament life probably hinges on, is getting this pick right tonight. Is that really it for centers? All right, it's a similar situation. It's not exactly super deep. Oh, look at there, it just went deeper. I didn't let the numbers update. Cat, Vooch, Gasol, Turner, Boogie, Capella, Horford again, Adams, Valanciunas, and then some of your other Siakams. I wouldn't take any of these power forward. We already saw that position sucked. I'd double up on my center if I could in the utility and then put it in the power forward spot if I've got a guy that's power forward eligible. I'd be running 3 centers probably tonight. I look over here at the value, and I've got good matchups for Gasol and Turner that are also scheduled to bring value. Maybe a Clint Capella. I'm not probably coming all the way down to a Draymond Green. His matchup's not great. But when I scroll over here and then start looking at the hot or nots, I see Karl Anthony Towns run a little hot. Gasol run a little bit hot. Gasol also hitting value. Boom, boom, boom. 1, 2, 3. Gasol might be my center of choice tonight. DeMarcus Cousins also in there running hot, bringing okay value up in the and one rating. So maybe a Boogie Cousins. Stronger plays theoretically than a Vucevic or a Karl Anthony Towns. But look at the ceiling on a Karl Anthony Towns. You know, I mean, there's a whole bunch of moving pieces here. But that's roughly your player pool for DraftKings tonight. You've got 2 or 3 out of each spot. We found out power forward's weak. And what do we do that in? 10 minutes? It just doesn't take a lot of research, guys. It really doesn't. What we're going to do now, let's kick into the hockey stuff really quickly. Let's talk a little bit about this chart because you want to learn some hockey, do the same thing. Here's the offenses you focus on. And then your job is to go find where the 5-star, 4-star plays are, where the cash game guys are, whatever. You can follow my breakaway column if you want to because I list all that stuff for you. I can tell you, let's randomly pick an offense tonight. Minnesota. Ryan Donato, Zach Parise, Jared Spurgeon, Suter, Zucker, Kunin, and what's his name? Larson Eck or whatever. Those guys are all 4-star plays. There's no 5-star play. Donato, Zucker, and Kunin are safe for cash, and your GPP play is the new guy, Reed. I'm already prepped and ready to go, guys. I'm going to tell you where to go, who to pay attention to, who to play. You're the one that has to pick them and assemble them, and you've got to learn the correlation stuff. And to learn the correlation stuff in hockey, I've done some videos. You can go back through my timeline and search through them on YouTube, or you can become a VIP and get it straight from the horse's mouth. Totally up to you. Carolina at Boston tonight. Big offenses, big strong defenses. That means when we add these two together, we've got a 51 here and a 48 here for Boston. These are low scores. I want the matchup score telling me who is scoring and who's facing a defense giving up goals. These two defenses are not giving up goals. Therefore, their matchup sort of sucks for both teams. Doesn't mean they can't score goals. That game's not going to end 0-0. But it means it's probably not going to be 6-5 in a shootout. Nor is this one in Columbus and New Jersey. Might be some solid plays out of it. I mean, again, just looking through the list, Jesper Bratt in New Jersey, of course, but your Duquesne, Atkinson, Anderson, Panarin, Seth Jones, Werenski types. Werenski safe for cash. Those types in Columbus, are one-offs. This is not the type of offensive matchup or game that I'm going to try and stack inside. I'm going to be focused on the green guys. So I'm going to be looking more at the New York Islanders potentially, although they've let us down a lot. They're not a very powerful offensive team. They just happen to be facing a very soft Ottawa defense. So that boosts their score, as it should. Now, we have to determine whether or not we believe it or not. We really think, are they not going to score because they don't have the talent to score, even if I was the goalie? Or do they have the talent to score and have been playing some tough games lately, and now that they've got a soft offense or soft defense, should just smash? Well, I haven't seen a lot out of New York this year in terms of offensive power. So they might get hot. They're probably a GPP type of pick tonight. Now, Florida at Pittsburgh. This game is a 60-something and a 60-something. That's a little bit better. We got, okay defenses, but we've got good offenses right now rolling up against each other that are not necessarily playing, tough defense. Therefore, we might have a shootout. This is a GPP game stack right here, Florida and Pittsburgh. And if you look over here at the PPMU, that's something our VIPs are learning about. It's a neat little secondary factor that can also tell you that Florida's in a pretty good spot if you know what that number means. But our VIPs get that. I don't share that number. I don't even tell you what it's called out in public. That's a proprietary number that has turned us on to some really, really good plays. Winnipeg, Tampa Bay. Winnipeg, not in a good spot because Tampa's defense has been so good, but Tampa's in a great spot. Second highest on the slate because they're scoring goals just under 4 goals a game clip, and then Winnipeg is giving them up at about 3.5 a clip, and we know Winnipeg is worse on the road which means Tampa's in an even better spot than the 72 and is probably my favorite offense on the night. If you can afford multiple pieces of them, I would stack the crap out of them. Stamkos, Point, Kucherov, Hedman, Killorn, Palat, all these guys are in play. Gord, get on them. Look for the guys that are performing better. I'll tell you that in the article coming out later today. Minnesota, Michigan, Nashville. Nope. See, 55 and a 40. Why would I play a 55 and a 48 when I got a 72 or a 68 and a 67 up here? Why would I do this? Only if I had a wild GPP hair up my butt. Otherwise, I'm just going to play the numbers, play the odds. I'll tell you really quickly, Colorado's in a really, really good spot. 33, 3.3 goals for, 4.2 against in Detroit. Detroit's a train wreck right now. What are they? Detroit has lost, 7 in a row or some crap? They're 2-10 in their last 10. They've been outscored 46-28 over that span. Hello. It's a great spot for Colorado. Great spot. So they're probably up there with, the Tampa Bay. You want the chalky stack, run Colorado and Tampa Bay and make it fit. So in a nutshell, in your hammer game down here, it puts Montreal in a pretty good spot. In a nutshell, I'm staying with the odds. Why am I staying with the odds? Because to be honest with you, I've learned this a long, long time ago. I had a friend in Chicago invited me to play in what was called a confidence pool in NFL. He said, "Hey, Chip, do you want to join our family confidence pool? It's, whatever, $10 a week, and you make these picks based on who you think is going to win, and you put, on the team you think is going to win the most, or you're the most confident in, you put 15 points on them. The team you think you're the least confident in that is going to win the game, you put 1 point on them." And you just kind of, so like New England is playing Buffalo, and I was like, well, 15, right? These guys got into game theory and they thought, oh, yeah, I'll outsmart this guy. Nah, bullshit. I knew you were all going to do that. You're all family members. Y'all want to brag, prove you're the smartest guy in the room. So what am I going to do down here in little old St. Louis where I don't have to talk or interact with any of you? Play Vegas. I just opened up the newspaper. Yeah, back in the newspaper era. I just opened up the newspaper, looked at the published point spreads. Oh, 14-point spread, 15 points on you. 11-point spread, 14 points on you. 8-point spread, 6 points, 10 points on you. Whatever. And I just played it all week, every week of the season. And I demolished the league. 3 years in a row, and they didn't invite me back. I raped them. Why? You're not going to beat Vegas long term. You're not going to beat the odds over the length of a season. So if you're sitting here saying, well, tonight I'm going to take Carolina. I know they're only a 51 on the matchup, but I have a funny feeling about them. And I'm going to stack them with Detroit because, after all, Colorado is great, but nobody's going to be on Detroit. Yeah, you're dumb. You're dumb. You need lessons. You need coaching. That might work for you once in a while, and there are times to use it. But on a huge slate like this, tonight ain't the night. Tonight is not the night. You got a big slate, and you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 viable offenses to choose from. Why would you take a risk on anybody else? More times than not, your best offensive performances are going to come out of those matchups. Stop overplaying your hand. Stop trying to be the smartest guy in the room. Play the odds. Over the course of an 82-game season, it works. It works more times than any other way. If you can, otherwise you might as well be the guy out in the stock market saying, this one's due to turn around, I bet on that. This one's due to turn around, I bet on that. This one's due to turn. Why am I broke? You're broke because you're chasing your tail and you're chasing your ass and you're overthinking things. Simplify. Minimize. Play the odds. Be smart. Eat the chalk. Speaking of chalk, I'm going to go write some up. This is your buddy Choppadong. This has been NBA, NHL coverage for both, and we'll talk a little bit more of the MME type stuff as we go forward. So, guys, take care. Thanks for following along. Thanks for watching the videos. Thanks for commenting. Thanks for sharing out on social media. Thanks for ringing the notification bell. And most importantly, thanks for helping with April sweeps by retweeting my stuff out on Twitter. I really appreciate it. And I hope to interact with you guys inside our coaching forums, out on Twitter, and here on YouTube, wherever you guys want to interact. Hopefully I got the time in the day that I can get back to most of you. I really try to be as interactive as I can be while I'm also producing all this content and editing the site dfsarmy.com. So click the link, use coupon code CHOP. You want a 20% off discount? There you go. Grandfathered into the life of your membership. Take care, guys. We'll talk to you hopefully here in a couple of days.